Hi guys, Skinny Pigs 1 here. Today I'm just talking to you briefly about taking your piggies to the vet. I'm going to show you how I take my pigs to the vet, just what the carry cage is and how I set it up, and just talk to you briefly about why we should have a vet. So to start off with, make sure you have yourself a vet picked out before something happens with your piggies. You never want to be in the crisis situation of needing a vet in an emergency and having no idea where to go. You need to pick a vet that's exotic, so that means one that looks after guinea pigs. You can't just pick a vet that looks after dogs and cats. Guinea pigs are a lot different and their care is specialized. You need to know that they're getting the proper medications, diagnosed properly, looked after properly, all of that stuff. So for me, my vet's about 50 minutes away or so, but it's worth the drive because you know that everything's being done properly and that you're getting your piggy looked after correctly. So what I like to do for my pigs is take them in a carry cage. There's lots of different options, but my personal preference are pet store cages. So this is the one I have here. Now this is the only time I'm going to be telling you to get a pet store cage, but they do make awesome carry cages because they're secure, they're sturdy, they're safe, and they easily fit in the back seat of your car. So this one is a Hagen brand. It is pretty small because my 1x2 mat doesn't even fit in here. I have to fold it all up to make it fit in here. But you don't need anything big because you're just taking them to and from the vets. Now what I do is since I use fleece, I put a liner in the bottom. Then I will always put a pile of hay. Since, as I said, my vet's a little bit of a trip away, I want to make sure they have hay to eat. If your vet was like only 10 minutes away from you, then that's fine if you don't put hay. But you can, because they do enjoy to have a snack while they're in there. The other thing that is an absolute must is you need somewhere for them to hide. It's going to be a little bit weird for them to be taken out of their cage, out of their home, going for a drive, so they need somewhere to hide to feel safe. What I personally like are these shacks or huts, whatever you would like to call them. Super warm. They can hide in there and you know they're cozy and protected. I really like these especially because right now it's winter here in Canada and it gets cold and my piggies have no fur. So this is what I love to have set in the carry cage. What I also will put is a fleece drape over top of it when I am outside so that no wind or drafts get in at the piggies. And then this can also help to give them a little more comfort. But when you're in your vehicle or somewhere warm, don't leave this on because you really need good ventilation at all times for your piggies. And the other thing I bring along with me is a water bottle. I usually don't have it attached to the cage because when you're driving, the little balls at the end go up and down and you usually just end up having all the water come out into the cage. But I do bring it to offer it when we're sitting in the waiting room or just before we're going to leave. And another great idea to bring with you is some vegetables. So on your way back, if you're going a long way, it makes great so that they can have something to do and they can be hydrated on the way back home. A great idea if you're going to the vets because your piggy is sick, make yourself a list of what their symptoms are, questions you want to ask your vet, medications that you know are safe. All of these things you want to have written down because often it's overwhelming when you're at the vets. You might forget some of the things you wanted to say, some of the things you wanted to ask. So I always bring a sheet, even with me today. I always bring a sheet of things that I wanted to ask, of medications I knew were safe, so when you do get prescribed something you can be like, oh yeah, that's what I was expecting to get. You know, it's just good to be there and ready and prepared and have a discussion with your vet rather than feeling overwhelmed and kind of like the deer in the headlights, and then later you go home and you're like, crap, I wanted to ask them this or I wanted to ask them that. So that's always a good idea. And if you ever are going to the vets and it's something critical, like your piggy is unwell, you can always take your critical care and a feeding syringe with you and have somebody else drive. So if you need to feed your pet while you're on your way to the vet, that's a great idea too. But just for checkups, all I bring is somewhere to hide and a little bit of hay and veggies for the trip home. So today I'm taking Hobbs to the vet and Bullseye to the vet. They are both on medications daily. Hobbs is on Medicam for his arthritis. He had a stroke last summer that has left him permanently tilted. He usually is like this in pictures, so I really think that has put strain on his body as well, but on the Medicam he's a lot more relaxed and moves a lot easier. Now Bullseye is on a medication, Cisapride. That's twice a day. It is a stimulant to get his stomach moving. He came to me with stomach issues. We dealt with a lot of issues with his poops being crazy weird. But on the Cisapride, he can eat veggies, which he couldn't before. And his stomach is continuously moving like it should. He doesn't get bloated. He doesn't get stasis. So it is a good thing. He's been on that for about a year, so my vet just asked if he could come in for a health check just to make sure everything's okay. Now you can take your piggies for health checks once a year. That's a great idea. Usually for me personally though, I just like to save up my money in my vet fund for when it is needed, when somebody is sick or you need a surgery, because stuff is expensive. I know for myself it'll be, I think, $74 each pig for today just to be having their full health check. That's not with medications. So it can get expensive. But since they're both on medications long term, I do want them to get checked out. So if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below and I will try to answer them. And also, I forget if I already said this, but I'm going to leave a link in the description box for helping you find a vet. It's on Guinea Links. There's lots of recommended vets for different places in the world. Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.